I understand Strand is like the new shiny toy that we just got with Lightfall, but I wanted to take a step back from that and go over a build using the Gyrfalcon's Hauberk exotic, because if you recall, last season I got an update to where whenever you come out of invisibility, you get volatile rounds for void weapons. And right now, I think I have honestly perfected the build to a T. So this build is going to be for Season of Defiance and pretty much everything moving forward, as long as we don't have any major changes with the exotic or any armor mods or anything like that. Now, just a heads up, I'm going to be giving multiple different options for this build when it comes to weapons and a couple of mods here and there, but most of the stuff is going to be pretty similar across the board for whatever weapons you decide to use for this. So obviously the exotic we're going to be talking about is the Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. Its perk, see me, feel me. Big description here, but essentially your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible, and when you are invisible and defeat a combatant while using a finisher, all of your weapons gain bonus damage. You and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability regeneration. These reserve overshields can be deployed by using a class ability. Obviously there's a lot going on here, but the main portion of this is being able to have those volatile rounds when coming out of being invisible, and if you didn't know, volatile rounds can actually stun anti-barrier champions now. Now for Season of Defiance in particular, I'm going to go over some armor perks that are going to be really good this season, but honestly, anything that deals with the void subclass and void weapons moving forward, I would recommend picking up from the artifact. If I come back and do another updated build for this, fantastic, that's great, but if I don't, again, just keep in mind what I said, void artifact perks here. So first up, we have authorized mods void. Pretty much any armor mod affecting void weapons is going to be significantly discounted, so this is going to give us more room to put on other mods. You do not need volatile flow for this. Again, pick up an orb of power, grants your void weapons volatile rounds. You don't need this because we already get it from Gyrfalcon's Hauberk, so don't worry about picking this up. Unless you want it for other builds, then pick it up, but for this one, it is not needed. The last two, Bricks from Beyond. Defeating a powerful combatant with a void weapon has a chance to generate heavy ammo for you and your teammates. This is pretty much free heavy ammo finder as an artifact perk, which absolutely fantastic. And then lastly, we have Void Weapon Channeling. You gain a temporary bonus to void weapon damage after you defeat a target with a void weapon while at least one of your void abilities is fully charged. The damage bonus increases based on the number of fully charged void abilities you have. Essentially, this is just free damage for void weapons. Now let's go over what I'm using under the Void Night Stalker subclass. So for super, I'm going with Mobius Quiver against the 2 volleys of 3 arrows. Really good for boss damage in general, but again, you can use it for ad clear. But if you did want specific ad clear, you could just do the Shadow Shot Deadfall. The 1 arrow, but the anchors are longer, tether a bunch of targets, more orbs of power. You can go either one, it honestly doesn't matter. For our abilities, I'm going with Gambler's Dodge. When I dodge near a target, I can get our Smoke Bomb back, which again, our Smoke Bomb will attach to surfaces. Anybody gets near it or you throw it at a target, it will detonate and weaken them, which is good. But you also can go Marksman Dodge for the reload on dodge, so that's up to you. For movement, I'm going with Triple Jump, but you can rock what you'd like. And for the grenade, I'm going with the Vortex Grenade just because I can throw it. It'll suck a bunch of enemies in and take them down. But again, you can use whatever grenade you would like here. For our aspects, I'm going with Vanishing Step. Again, dodging makes you invisible. Basically an easy way to go invisible to take advantage of the Gyrfalcon's Hauberk perk. And then next up, Stylus Executioner. This one is the one that takes the cake for this build. Defeating a weakened suppressor volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. After performing a Stylus Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens target. So essentially, whenever you apply a void debuff to a target and you kill them, it's free invisible. You get free invisibility. And there's multiple ways we're going to be adding the debuff. Obviously, the volatile rounds with our weapons, weakening from our snare bomb, our vortex grenade, and our super. There's plenty of other stuff here. So, and you're like, David, how are we weakening targets with the grenade? Well, we have Echo of Undermining. Again, your void grenades weaken targets, and we get a -20 to discipline. So you do take a hit there, but also free weaken grenade. Might as well take advantage of it. Next, we have Echo of Starvation. Picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power grants Devour, -10 to recovery. So if you don't know what Devour is, essentially you feast on the energy of your defeated foes. Final blows restore you to full health, grant grenade energy, and extends Devour. So pretty much it's a free health bump and grenade energy as long as you can chain some kills. And then a Void Breach, again, a dimensional rupture teaming with Void Energy. When picked up, Void Breaches grant class ability energy. Again, this is a new thing with Lightfall that got added. Next up, I have Echo of Obscurity. Finisher final blows grant visibility. We get a +10 to recovery. This is kind of like almost like a last minute panic type thing. So if you don't have volatile rounds, you don't have any of those debuffs to go invisible with Stylus Executioner, you can always finish a target. Plus, you can take advantage of getting a finisher while invisible with Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. Now for the last fragment, I am liking a new one that came with Lightfall called Echo of Cessation. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile, and defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. So we get 2 benefits here on top of one being for the finisher, and then the other being for the void breach. Since we have volatile rounds for our void weapons almost constantly, we're going to be creating void breaches to pick up, so it's going to be really good. If you did not want to rock Echo of Cessation, you could always rock something like Echo of Exchange. Again, melee final blows, grand grenade energy. Also have Echo of Remnants, which will extend the effect of certain grenades, the Vortex, Void Wall, Void Spike, and Axiom Bolt. We also have, Echo of Reprisal here, final blows when surrounded by combatants, grant super energy, so you can get your super back faster. Again, we do have a couple options here, but I personally like these 4. Next, let's talk about the mods I'm going to be using on my armor. So first up here, I have Void Siphon, Rapid Void Weapon Final Blows, create an Orb of Power. Next, I have Special Ammo Finder. Again, that'll increase the drop chance of special ammo on a kill. If you wanted to substitute this in for Heavy Ammo Finder, you can, but there's a reason I have Special Ammo Finder, and you'll see that when I talk about my weapons. Lastly, I have Dynamo, reduce the super cooldown when using your class ability, your targets. For my gauntlets here, I'm rocking Bolstering, Detonation, and Focusing Strike. Pretty much any melee damage or grenade damage I do will grant class ability energy. And then lastly, I have Void Loader, which increases the reload speed of void weapons. If you did want to substitute this in for Impact Induction and causing damage to the melee attack reduces grenade cooldown, you can totally do that. For our chest piece here, I'm rocking Triple Void Reserves, which is going to increase the amount of ammo you can carry for void weapons, special and heavy. So keep that in mind. If you wanted to trade out one of these or 2 of them for some resistance mods, you totally can, but I really like taking advantage of how much ammo I get for special and heavy weapons with void reserves. On my boots here, I'm rocking Triple Void Weapon Surge. Essentially, your void weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. And again, these do stack, so I'm rocking triple, so I will get the most amount of damage out of my void weapons that I can. Essentially, armor charge is the new way of, getting quote-unquote charge of light and all that great stuff. Again, it's a new way we do things. So essentially, collect an orb of power, you gain an armor charge. You can get a max up to 3 armor charges. And with these blue mods, essentially each armor charge will last 10 seconds, and then it will go down by 1. So if you have 3, 10 seconds go by, you'll go down to 2. So essentially this would last 30 seconds, but there is a way to extend that with the time dilation mod on the class item. So your decaying armor charge has a longer duration, so that 10 seconds gets bumped up to 15 seconds. So if we have 3 armor charges and we don't pick up an orb of power, we pretty much have 45 seconds of that bonus void weapon damage, which is just absolutely disgusting. Next up on the class item, we have Reaper. After using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. And then lastly, I have Bomber here, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Now for stats to focus on, mainly, we talk about this every video. Try to have tier 10 resilience, 100 resilience, so you get that 30% damage reduction in PvE. And then secondly, maybe I'd focus on mobility so you can get that dodge back faster. Since we are rocking Gambler's Dodge, we can dodge near targets, proc Dynamo, and also get that Snare Bomb back to weaken targets on top of that. And then maybe you could focus on discipline and intellect as well. But honestly, resilience is the main thing here. Now let's talk about some weapons you can use. Now, the reason I said Special Ammo Finder in particular is for the Wave Splitter exotic trace rifle here. This thing is disgusting with this build. So, intrinsic traits: harmonic laser, laser damage has 3 power levels that oscillate while the trigger is held down. Then we also have polygonal rifling, enhanced battery, and then fitted stock. But the main kicker here is its other trait perk, Supercharged Battery. Collecting an orb of power grants a period of maximum power that starts with an automatic reload. So anytime you collect an orb of power, it automatically reloads the weapon, and then sustained fire in this mode suppresses targets. So essentially, this gun adds on the suppress debuff, which again we can take advantage of with Stylus Executioner and the Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. So you can suppress and make targets volatile with this weapon all at the same time. Now, there are a few other weapons that you can look into. If you don't have Wave Splitter, again, you're like, David, what the heck should I do? So, a couple things to look out for. When it comes to energy weapons, I would try to find a weapon that comes with something like Repulsor Brace. Again, defeating a void debuff target grants an overshield. So essentially, whenever you make, those targets volatile, or if you weaken a target with your smoke bomb or the grenade and you kill them with this weapon, you will gain that void overshield. So now we can take advantage of overshields, devour, and invisibility, the 3 buffs that you get with the void subclass. So we can take advantage of that. Another gun to look out for, or just another perk in general that you can get, this is a new perk that came with Lightfall, but Destabilizing Rounds. Final blows cause nearby targets to become volatile. So again, you get volatile rounds on top of being able to make other targets volatile with Destabilizing Rounds. Again, this is just literally so free. I personally like Repulsor Brace over Destabilizing Rounds, but again, it is not a bad option. When it comes to kinetic weapons in general, you can find guns that come with something like Osmosis. Now, using your grenade ability changes this weapon's damage type to match your subclass until you stow it. So if I have this weapon out and I throw my grenade, it'll actually turn escape velocity into a void weapon. So it can get volatile rounds, and It's basically another void weapon whenever you throw that grenade. So that makes this thing absolutely disgusting. Now, when it comes to heavy weapons, honestly, you can use like whatever void weapon you want, as long as it's like a rocket, machine gun, you know, linear, if it's good for boss DPS, you know. Again, that's what heavies are used for, right? Power weapons, right? But if you have a retrofit escapade from Season of the Seraph, oh man, I would recommend, if you don't have one crafted or need to get one crafted, whatever, 4 times the charm with target lock. Both of these are enhanced, so rapidly landing precision hits will return 2 rounds of the magazine, increases time between precision shots. Disgusting. And then target lock damage increases by an improved amount the longer this weapon remains on a target. And if we use this on top of the volatile rounds, it's even more damage there. So again, there are multiple weapon options when it comes to using void weapons. So if you don't have Wave Splitter and you don't have guns with repulsor brace or destabilizing rounds, again, try to find void weapons that you like using. There's plenty of weapons that have destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace. Just need to potentially grind for them. But other than that, let's talk about synergy. If you're not catching it, I'm going to try to explain it to the best of my ability, but it's honestly really easy mode. Just going invisible and getting kills with void weapons to create volatile rounds to go invisible. Again, from pretty much any debuff or dodging. So let's say we're about to engage the enemy. What do? Okay, let's go invisible first. So we can either dodge to go invisible with vanishing step, or if we apply debuff, you know, weaken from our melee or a grenade because of Echo of Undermining, again, if we kill a weakened target, again, that's going to grant us invisibility from Stylus Executioner. So what happens now? With Gyrfalcon's Hauberk, we're going to come out of that invisibility, and all of our void weapons are now going to gain volatile rounds. So now we have a really great crowd control aspect. So when we're getting kills with our void weapons, Void Siphon's going to kick in, creating orbs of power. And again, with Reaper, after we dodge and then get a kill with a weapon, doesn't matter what the weapon is, that's also going to create another orb of power there. And with Echo of Starvation, anytime we collect an orb of power, it'll grant Devour, plus any target defeated by Volatile, again with our Volatile rounds, will create a Void Breach, which also procs in Echo of Starvation, giving us Devour. And so, as long as we have Devour, any final blows will give us full health, we're getting free grenade energy, and it's pretty much free survivability. Now with Echo of Obscurity, like I mentioned, if for some reason we don't have our melee, we don't have our grenade, we don't have our dodge, there's no way for us to go invisible because we don't have volatile rounds, Echo of Obscurity will allow us to get a finisher on a target and go invisible at that same time. Now, on top of that, with Echo of Cessation, finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that cause nearby combatants to become volatile. So again, that's another free volatile. And also with Gyrfalcon's Hauberk, if you're invisible and then you get a finisher while you are invisible, all of your weapons will gain bonus damage, and if you're with teammates, they get that reserve overshield, the improved class ability regeneration, and whenever they use their class ability, they get free overshield on top of that. So you get the free damage and the free overshield on top of that. All the other stuff is kicking in as well. With Special Ammo Finder, if you're rocking Wave Splitter, which I would highly recommend here because that's the reason why I mentioned it, again, we're pretty much not going to run out of special ammo. Again, anytime we use that Gambler's Dodge near targets, Dynamo's kicking in, giving us more super energy. With Focusing Strike and Bolstering Detonation, anytime we do damage with our grenade and our melee, we're getting our dodge back again. With Void Loader on the gauntlets, we can reload our guns even faster, especially for heavy. With Retrofit, that definitely takes a while. With Void Reserves, we have a crap ton of special and heavy ammo, so it's going to be really hard for us to run out. And again, any orb of powers that we collect, we are going to be gaining armor charges. Now, armor charges, we're gaining triple void weapon surge, so we're getting way crazy bonus damage with our void weapons here. So whether it's for, you know, small enemies, majors, mini bosses, or just bosses, we're getting that bonus damage there, which is absolutely disgusting. With time dilation, those armor charges last 15 seconds, maximum of 45 seconds, and then whenever we dodge, Bomber's kicking in, giving us our grenade back even faster here. And then with the seasonal artifact perks, obviously taking advantage of Bricks from Beyond, so anytime we're getting void weapon kills, we get free heavy ammo finder essentially. And then with void weapon channeling, anytime we get void weapon kills and we have at least one of our void abilities, we get bonus damage to that. And obviously if we have all our void abilities, we're gaining even more bonus damage for our void weapons. So essentially what I just explained is go invisible and start shooting targets with those void weapons to gain volatile rounds. Because again, with Stylus Executioner, you kill a target in volatile rounds, you're going invisible again, and then when you come out invisible, it reprocs the volatile rounds. So essentially, you can have constant volatile rounds. And obviously, with Wave Splitter, it does suppress the targets. We do get really good damage out of the special. But if for some reason you're using a weapon with Repulsor Brace, again, with those volatile rounds, or you're defeating a weakened target or a suppressed target, whatever, you're getting a free overshield on top of that. So again, if you have any gun with Repulsor Brace on it, that's void. Definitely keep it because it can be really effective for this build by taking advantage of all three of the void buffs. But again, in my opinion, this is the perfected Gyrfalcon's Hauberk build. This is what I use. This is what I enjoy using. I'm shredding in activities. I'm creating a crap ton of orbs. I'm getting my super really fast. There's essentially no downside to this build. Other than, like I said, if changes come in the future, I'll make an updated build. But again, this is honestly the end-all be-all for Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to put the dim link here in the comments. I'm going to pin it so it's going to be right at the top so you can put on all the armor mods that I have and all the void, you know, subclass fragments aspects, all that great jazz. So you can put on all that stuff and test it out for yourself. And then, you know, if you think there's anything I could have substituted in for this build, whether it's mods, you know, fragments, whatever, again, definitely put that in the comments. I'm definitely willing to hear you out. I'm testing stuff out in this game all the time. So if you think there's something that you liked or didn't like and that we can change around, again, I'm totally willing to hear you out. But like I said, in my opinion, this is the perfected build for this, in my opinion. If you guys like what you saw, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another build video here on the channel. If you didn't know, we actually go live 3 times a week. Tuesdays and Fridays are guaranteed, and then we switch off Wednesdays and Thursdays whenever that's available, typically around 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, I stream on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. We're figuring a couple things out, so if you want to stay up to date, again, join my Discord. That's where we're all going to be chatting, again, whenever we're doing raids, PvP, any Destiny 2 activity. If we're just vibing out, we're going to be in my Discord. So again, that link will be in the description. We're also talking about other games in there as well, on top of PC tech, anime, and more. Lastly, if you didn't know, we hit YouTube Partner here on the channel, which is just freaking awesome. It's given us a lot of benefits, and one of those things includes memberships. If you don't know what a membership is, it is essentially like a Twitch subscription. Again, you're getting access to the exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and other cool things here on the channel. So if you would just like some more information, all you have to do is press the join button, next subscribe, and that'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.